Hey guys, this is my first YouTube video and I'm going to be showing you today how to disassemble and reassemble an H K USP. This particular one is a compact 45 auto. The dimensional differences between the 45 auto and the 9mm 40 caliber series is slight. The magazine wells and the dimensions, the thickness of the pistol and the length of it's a little bit bigger, but essentially they are just scaled versions of each other. So learning how to disassemble this one will apply to the full-size USPs as well as the compact 9mm series, etc. So first thing we're going to do, like any responsible, safe firearm handling individuals, is clear the weapon. We're going to remove the magazine and show that the weapon is in fact clear. You'll notice I'm not touching my trigger. No reason to, I'm not shooting it. And yes, our weapon is clear. You can tell because I can stick my finger inside the chamber. So we're good. Now we're going to do the field strip. Most of you guys should already know how to do this. If you don't, there's a little cutout here. And you can see it right there. And that cutout corresponds with the shape of the takedown lever or slide stop. And basically what we're going to do is rack the slide so that this is lined up with here and we can push it right out. And the way I do this is I just put my index finger on the button of it, which is the other half of the takedown lever. With enough tension on it, we rack the slide, it'll pop into that groove. Now it's just a matter of taking it out. The way we do this is we grab the pistol like so. So my index finger is wrapped around the rear of the gun with my thumb, and I'm going to squeeze. And as I squeeze, I'm going to take enough tension off of it to let this slide right out. So that's out. And this can come back forward and slide right off. So there goes the frame. Here goes the slide. That's the field strip. Field stripping is easy enough. The next part of the field stripping is taking out the recoil spring guide rod and the barrel. And as a little tip, etiquette-wise, when you're ever disassembling a pistol, a lot of pistols, their guide rod is not necessarily captivated as well as this particular pistol is. So what you're going to want to do is grab in this manner when you're taking the slide off. So as you remove it, if your recoil spring guide rod were to go flying, you'd captivate it with your palm as you remove it from the pistol. It doesn't really matter with this particular gun, but in others it does. So just remember that. This comes right out. No reason to disassemble it. These styles, these are the newer ones. If you look, it has a split, and you have to kind of pinch that down as this washer slides over it. You don't want to do that. It's going to be a bitch to put it back together, and it's not necessary. There's no reason to take this thing apart. You could probably buy them as an assembly too if you ever had to break one and needed to replace it. So I'll move that out of the way for now. Barrel still in there. Slides right out. Gravity works wonders. You see the barrel has this little cutout right here. This is the cam that locks the barrel into the slide, and these are the cams that unlock it, allow it to drop down so that the slide can cycle. I'll show you how that works. You can see right here my slide, I even have the wear from where the camming surface goes, and as I slide the barrel in, you're going to see it step into that groove. It makes a lovely clicking sound, and that's a nice solid lock there. You'll notice there's a little bit of play in there, but it's not crucial at this point anyway. When it gets excessive, then it'll need to be addressed, but for now it's fine. So barrel comes out, and that's the slide. Magazine. Majority of the pistol mags are designed exactly the same way. Most AR-15 mags are the same way too. There's a button in there, and that button is basically on a locking plate. Spring tension keeps the floor plate from sliding off because the locking plate groove is corresponding with that button. So I'm just going to take this little takedown pin here, slide stop, and I'm going to press in that groove. Oh, helps if you take the mag out. Don't do what I just did. I did that one time and I launched the end plate and I could not find it. So we're going to take all the bullets out of the mag. It's under tension. Those are our bullets. So now that the tension has been relieved in the mag, I can do this part now. Press the button in, slide it forward a little bit. Put your thumb over the locking plate as you take off the floor plate. You don't want to lose this. Locking plate comes out, follower comes out. Here's our follower. There's a front and a back to it. This is the front, this is the back. You can tell by the angle of it. You look at the spring. The spring has that angle too. They correspond with each other. Think of the pistol pointing forward, the angle pointing forward. So our follower goes on like that. Alright, you'll notice the coils of the spring near the top of the follower, or near the top of the spring rather, are a lot more compressed, more tighter than the spacing of the spring at the bottom. So you know the top from the bottom. We're going to put the mag together now. There's no reason to stick around with it unassembled. So, you got it apart. Good time to clean it. Mine's already more or less clean, so I'm not going to go through that trouble. But if you haven't done this before, this is how it's done. Push that back in. You'll notice that there's a little tab that corresponds with the front. Pretty hard to get this wrong. Push that in. Take our floor plate. You'll notice I have the flat style one instead of the one with the flare for your finger, the flange. Slides right over, and it locks. Click. Done. Alright, onto the slide.